Right. Now, the psychology of astrology. I don't know how y'all feel about this. I don't know where y'all knowledge, goes to when it comes to astrology. I know a whole lot of people are only familiar with their sun, moon, you know what I'm saying? If you've been that curious, or even rising sign, right? Your big three. There's more of these things, and I feel like there is a sort of mainstream technical way of addressing astrology and getting into it. There's also apparently there's this psychological depth to it, right? As per the title, because that's what I'm getting from the title. So if you're as curious as I am as to what's going on within that aspect of astrology, the psychology of astrology, let's see what's up with it, right? Go.
Goodbyes, I'd rather you tell them. But now the truth is I've digressed from all the feelings. So it's forever though. Like my mama's son is missing. Ain't no telling, do they love or did they kill him? The dominoes have fallen, we can't go back to beginning. This existential crisis, the reason I cannot keep competing and keep on living. So it's back against the world.
Mic check, on. Mic on. Right. Diving straight to it. Let me not even say a word besides how y'all doing. Hope y'all doing amazing. Hope y'all great. I mean, even if you aren't, it's okay. For me, it is gonna be. You will be straight. You know what I mean? Just, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I mean, yeah, we're checking out the psychology of astrology, right? Like, literally, what went through people's minds? What does go through people's minds when they, I don't know, tap into, theories, concepts like astrology? Feel me? Because it really does it means something to somebody. You know what I mean? Might be you, might be me, might not. You know what I'm saying? Let's hop in.
I can only gaze with wonder and awe at
Why?
the depths and heights of our psychic nature. Its non-spatial universe conceals an untold abundance of images which have accumulated over millions of years of living development and become fixed in the organism.
Beautiful.
And these images are not pale shadows, but tremendously powerful psychic factors. Beside this picture, I would like to place the spectacle of the starry heavens at night, for the only equivalent of the universe within is the universe without.
That's it.
Our relationship with the stars is thought to be as old as mankind itself. For thousands of years, our ancestors looked at the starry night sky in awe, and early knowledge of the stars can be found in prehistoric caves, bone fragments, and megalithic structures. At around 12,000 years old, Göbekli Tepe contains the world's oldest known megaliths, and suggests evidence of alignment with celestial events far older than Stonehenge and the Great Pyramid of Giza. Over time, most if not all ancient civilizations searched for meaning in the skies and personified their myths in the constellations. The Sumerians were among the first to observe and record the movements of celestial bodies, laying the groundwork for the study of astrology.
You know what? Just one small little thing to insert here. Not even gonna be that long. The one thing that I do, remind myself of is, the resilience that this version of civilization had to have. You know what I mean? To literally. But then again, if there's nothing else you have other than nature, you kind of are forced to, sit and stare at the sky and make sure that this formation of stars that I'm seeing right now, present moment, you know what I mean? It's kind of like you had to have a snapshot of what's going on in the sky, so that by the time you see a different formation, you're like, okay, this changed, right? And then whenever it comes back to the version of the sky that it was when I took the snapshot, right? That first, you know what I mean? That first picture of star formation that I seen the first time, right? Before it started changing. It's like that pattern, that, you know, pattern recognition. Damn, it needed a certain level of intelligence, bro. A certain potency of intelligence. I'm not gonna lie. That I feel like civilization has kind of, well, lost altogether, bro. Because of things like, let's face it, bro, AI and technology and calculators and vibrators and shit.
Literally, the study of the stars. This
Yep.
helped the Babylonians in Mesopotamia to create the first organized system of astrology at around 2000 BC. The astrological premise can be found in Babylonian tablets, where it is written, "Sky and earth both produce portents. Though appearing separately, they are not separate, because sky and earth are related. A sign which portends evil in the sky is also evil on earth. One that portends evil on earth is evil in the sky." Astrology study.
So I'd say, you know, from just like what I'm taking from that, right? It's like just the it was literally about the alignment of what's going on in the sky, what's going on, what's going on the sky informs us what's gonna go on the ground, you know what I'm saying, as per like what we see. So, you know, it was important to capture the formation of things like what's going on in the sky. I don't even think it was about like the stars they sell. I know, you know, the sun and the moon is kind of, yeah, they're stars as well, right? Different kinds of stars, bigger, you know, stars maybe, yeah. But it's like we need to just like see or capture rather, right? Whatever is going on in the sky, that should be like, you know, that's the official representation of what we are to experience on the ground. It's kind of like with the seasons and shit like that. You know what I mean? I feel like obviously they were at a point where they could just like, you know, name the seasons off of having captured or crammed what's going on in the sky. And they know, you know, what kind of climate to just like expect, you know, what kind of temperature to expect based off of just like what's about to formulate or what's formulating. You know what I'm saying? So like, yo, damn. Alright. Nah, I'm just thinking, you know, like, yo, technology has robbed us of a lot of quality of intelligence. You know what I'm saying?
Studies the correlation
We'll never get this
of
back
celestial
fast.
objects and earthly events or human experience.
Bro, Google
The skies are
tells us
thought to
about
present
seasons.
celestial portents or omens, signs of future events tied to human affairs, believed as divine messages from the planets named after the gods.
Right.
The Babylonians would use these to predict future events and take action to avoid disaster. This is known as mundane astrology, which is almost wholly concerned with the welfare of the state and the king. Parallel to the Babylonians, the Egyptians developed their own astrology based on the decans, which are 36 groups of fixed stars or small constellations divided into 10 degrees each, used as a timekeeping method in order to perform religious rites at the appropriate time, among other things. Each of the decans...
Nah. I'm not gonna lie, this astrology thing is deeper than what we think, eh? I've never heard of any of this, bro. Like in terms of when we're talking astrology, bro. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, we know about like the 12 signs and zodiac signs and what, but like the history of Egypt being attached to this, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, okay, yeah, I'm probably just exposing my own kind of ignorance, but come on, bro, be honest, you didn't know this shit too, dude. Come on, bro. Hey, that's interesting, bro. So all the way from the Egyptians, hieroglyphics
would be associated with a divinity. After the Alexandrian
Beacons and
conquest
divinities.
in the 4th century BC, Hellenistic astrology was mixed with Egyptian astrology
Hellenistic. I've heard that one before.
and Babylonian astrology, creating natal astrology. The emphasis moved from predicting mundane events to focusing on the positions of celestial bodies at the time of a person's birth, in order to provide insights into their personality and life path. Another branch that emerged later was electional astrology, which involves choosing the most auspicious or favorable times to initiate or undertake specific activities or events.
Yeah.
The ancient stargazers observed how some stars remained fixed and others wandered, though we now know that stars are not fixed, but rather move very slowly, so that their movement appears imperceptible to the human eye. The wandering lights came to be known as planets, a word that derives from the Greek verb planestai, meaning to wander. The ancients imagined the planets as gods wandering amongst the constellations along the zodiacal route. Hence planets were named after the gods. Today, our planets are named after the Roman gods. By the classical period of the Greco-Romans, the constellations that the planets passed through were being mapped out as the celestial highway known as the zodiac. Characterizing the early zodiacal signs were instinctual images embodied as animals. The figures of the zodiac are not just random and haphazard drawings, but images of the collective unconscious projected into the skies. The word zodiac derives from the Greek zodiakos kuklos, circle of little animals, which reflects the prominence of animals and mythological hybrids among the 12 signs. The Chinese zodiac has 12 animals, one of which is assigned to each year in a repeating 12-year cycle. Archetypally, magical animals are often the symbols of the self, the total personality. They are a purely instinctive unconscious force, greater and more powerful than the ego, but entirely unconscious. This circle of animals, or wheel of life, embodies the complete wisdom of nature, and yet does not possess the light of human consciousness. Embedded in the zodiac is the archaic wisdom known as the seat of the soul, or the temple of the spirit. We'll now be going through some of the basics of astrology.
Let's do it.
For the astrologer, the natal chart is not just a portrait of the heavens at the moment of one's birth, but also a snapshot of our soul's plan, and thus the most valuable tool one can have in one's possession. This blueprint of the soul contains clues to help one understand one's personality, including one's strengths and flaws. It reveals something larger than ourselves, as our lives are connected to the cosmos, giving us a deeper sense of meaning in life. The German astronomer Johannes Kepler wrote, "The soul of the newly born baby is marked for life by the pattern of the stars at the moment it comes into the world, unconsciously remembers it, and remains sensitive to the return of configurations of a similar kind." The 7 classical planets, or 7 luminaries, are the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus.
Oh yeah, luminaries. That's what the sun and moon are part of, and the rest of the planets, right? Luminaries, okay.
Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn.
Right.
The 7 days of the week are named after the...
Yeah, and you know, as per my attempt at deepening my own knowledge of this, you know, this science, astrology. You know what I'm saying? I think that's when I found out that we're more than just the, you know, this whole sun and moon stuff, right? There's the rest of the planets. I'm like, what? Yeah. Right? Come on. So there's more homework to do. In other words, don't be lazy. Do that homework. My fault. Did I disturb? Yeah, this guy's going in. I'm not gonna lie. Eternalized. Yeah, y'all give that a like. He's cooking. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel bad for disturbing the whole flow. Let's get into it. My fault.
Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto were not included, as they were invisible to the naked eye and were thus unknown to the ancient Hellenic peoples. Aspects are certain angles or degrees of separation between planets that gives us an understanding of their relation to each other in the birth chart. When 2 or more planets line up in the sky at certain angles, their energies are said to combine. These are studied carefully by astrologers, as it is where the main action is. Depending on the combination of planets, the aspects can have a positive or negative effect on us. The ancients had a magical symbolic sense to the physical world, and to the human imagination, the heavens appeared to be engraved with figures such as Aries the ram, Gemini the twins, Sagittarius the archer, etc. In the natal chart.
You did say they were named, after what, Greek gods? Was it Greek gods or Roman gods? My fault. I kind of forgot that detail about it. But so when you say Gemini the twins, like what god is that about the twins? Fuck. You know what? I'm gonna do this kind of research and homework later. I was about to jump into it, but yeah, let's get on.
There are a total of 12 signs in the zodiac wheel, each of which lasts 1 month and occupies 30 degrees of celestial longitude. On the other hand, there is the wheel of the 12 houses, which is based on the Earth's 24-hour rotation about its own axis. Each house represents a unique sphere of existence or human experience, wherein the energies of the zodiac signs and planets operate. The first 3 houses are the self, possessions, and communication, respectively. 2 people can have the same zodiac sign, but be located in a different...
Exactly. So 2 people can be like, for example, an Aries and whatever, right? But then, be different. You feel me? It had to do with those houses and the rest of the planets and all of that communicating. You know what I'm saying?
House. This is because one's sun sign differs from one's ascendant.
Right.
There are 3 key signs in astrology: sun sign, moon sign, and ascendant
the rising
sign. When one talks about their zodiac sign, they are usually referring to their sun sign, that is, which zodiac sign the sun was positioned at when they were born. This represents one's core identity or personality type. The sun spends about 30 days in each zodiac sign. The moon sign, on the other hand, spends 2.5 days in each sign and rules one's inner self or unconscious personality.
Right.
In alchemy, by seeking the coldness of the moon, silver, one finds the heat of the sun, gold. It is the union of the albedo and rubedo stages, the sacred marriage of king and queen, which leads to the creation of the philosopher's stone, an alchemical symbol of the self. On the other hand, we have the ascendant, which appears at the time of your birth and location, time zone, and changes every 2 hours on average. It points to
the
first house in the natal chart. The ascendant represents your persona, how you present yourself to the world. The Christian mystic and astrologer Max Heindel gives us an example of 2 children being born in the same place at the same time, having marked similarities in their lives.
Now you know what I heard? That the ascendant is representative of your literal shape of your body. Literally, I'm not making it up. Like that, that's what I heard. Like, do your homework right here on YouTube too. Okay.
He writes, a Mr. Samuel Hemmings was born in the same parish in London.
Why?
At the same hour and near the same minute as King George III,
right.
June 4, 1738. He went into business as an ironmonger on the same day the king was crowned. He was married the same day as His Majesty, died on the same day, and also other events in the 2 lives resembled each other. The difference...
Yeah, I feel like now that right there, those are those eerie aspects of astrology. That was kind of creepy. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of details that have people looking the other way when it comes to astrology. Feel me? I mean, but you're here right now. You're here with me. You know what I'm saying? Which means your mind is as curious as mine is. You know what I mean? Let's do it.
Prince and station precluded both being kings, but on the same day when one became the monarch of a kingdom, the other also became an independent businessman.
Damn.
The well-known Hermetic dictum, as above, so below, is key to astrology.
Yeah.
It is the idea that man, the microcosm, is influenced by the universe, the macrocosm. That is to say, truths about the nature of the cosmos may be inferred from truths about human nature and vice versa. The notion of seeing mythic narratives through patterns in the heavens is one of the earliest attempts to link the outer world with the inner world. The myth of astrology was, and still is, another way of comprehending the world around us.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Wait, let me just insert this there. Yes, dare I do it? Yeah. Yes. I feel like it applies, like what he just said, it applies to everything. It's just like about finding meaning, you know what I'm saying, as per your reality, you know, so that you could be able to live in it, you know what I mean, like have your being in it, you know what I'm saying, because you do have to. And here's another thing that, you know, we all hear a lot, right? Don't judge me, you know, this judgment, that bro, finding meaning. I feel like, okay, here's my little sidebar, you know, kind of take. Finding meaning in anything, whatever aspect of life, finding that meaning, coming to that kind of like POV about, okay, this is what this means, this is how I'm moving. You see what happens there? This is what this means, because once you define what a situation, an aspect, a person, a relation, whatever it is, what that means for yourself, that's gonna affect how you move. You know what I'm saying? And what is that? That's a judgment that you made, nigga. Facts. That's a judgment that you just made right there, right? And so now, judgment is, you know, you making judgments is the, dare I say, the backbone of your sanity, bro. It's what keeps you sane. It's what keeps you on your platform. It's what keeps you on your square. This is what this means. So this is how I compartmentalize that. This is what this means. This is how, you know what I'm saying? This is how I treat that. This is who this means in my life. That's what it is. And then this is how I can just like be me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like with, you know, with an understanding and a picture of the meaning of my environment. You just made a judgment right there. Right? So you have to judge some shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing but like what you make your life mean, aka astrology. It's like, yo, people treat it like, yo, it's this, I don't know, like cursed spell that, you know, you get into it, it's like you're possessed on something. Like I don't know, it's like you know, last time I checked the energy about, you know, astrology, you know, with people these days, they just throw it out, you know what I mean? They don't, whatever, and you know, which is cool. There's nothing wrong, there's nothing right. This is just, it is what it is. Again, it's what that means for you. You know what I'm saying? You rejecting it or you accepting it. It's just, and with you accepting it, it's just the utilization of you trying to get a clearer picture of your environment. That's why I'm like, yo, and what I just said applies to anything. It could be astrology, it could be your own ambitions to life, it could be like even your religious you know, ways about you. You know what I'm saying? Practices, habits, routines, feel me? Rituals. Right? It's just like we all trying to just get a clearer meaning out of life. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, I don't think what I use to make my life mean whatever it has to mean to keep me sane, whatever I use, I don't think it should be, you know, better or worse than whatever it is that you use. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's kind of like I circled back to the whole judgment thing, but while giving you a POV of how you can do it without judging. Understand that, you know what I'm saying? The base, the primary intention here is just like finding, you know, meaning. You know what I mean? Making your environment make sense. Because again, you know, well, I've said this in a previous video, but like, you know, your environment is an extension of who you are. Like, it's not just, you know, it's an extension of your own identity, your environment. Places that you frequent, you know what I'm saying? People you attach to on a regular, things like that, like habits that you're on. Facts.
16th century Swiss physician Paracelsus.
Yep.
Astrology was a source of critical knowledge for the physician, for without this knowledge, one was not able to interpret the inner heaven or star of the body. correctly, and
Guard
thus
the body.
effect healing for the patient. In his conception of the inner heaven, he glimpsed an eternal primordial image, which was planted in him and in all men, and recurs at all times and places.
Yep.
In every human being there is a special heaven, whole and unbroken. The very nature of astrology connects it with the cosmos, myths, and the gods. Throughout most of its history, astrology was mainstream and considered a scholarly tradition, and though it had some skeptics, it wasn't until the beginning of the scientific revolution in the 16th century that it
So science beat astrology's ass, basically.
astrology was called into serious question.
Why?
The astronomical predictions of Ptolemy's geocentric model, which had been used for over 1500 years, was being replaced by the heliocentric model introduced by Copernicus. Astrology slowly became pseudoscience, and astronomy was born. Western astrology was not only frowned upon by science, but also by religion, which considered it heretical, mainly because of its emphasis on fate rather than free will.
Oh, damn. Yeah, right? Nah, okay, the whole free will thing, yo, that's its own video, right? Because, like, the thing is, you know, there's a whole train of thought that free will really doesn't exist because, you know, cause and effect. Whatever has been caused, you know, there'll always be an effect, even though that effect thinks that it's only affecting whatever it's affecting by its own will. It's like, no, something had to happen for that to, you know what I'm saying? So even though you woke up and thought it was your own free will to go, you know, to a restaurant and, you know, order or whatever, you know, go to wherever and order like a chocolate flavored drink. Well, nah, you know, no, like something had to have influenced you to, you know, get closer to a potential to making a decision of picking something chocolate. Like maybe you was like watching a whole lot of chocolate ads as of late. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you probably before you went to bed, you was scrolling a whole lot of TikTok and you came across a whole lot of maybe chocolate recipe kind of TikToks. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then all of that is kind of like stored in your subconscious. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, it's that whole conversation where it's like, nope, something influences us to get to. So do we really call anything free will if, you know, I stepped outside of my house and it was mad chilly outside. I grabbed the jacket and, you know, nah, it was my choice to dress like this today. It's like, nah, it wasn't. It's because it's kind of chilly outside, bro. Type of narrative, right? So it's like, yo, is there really free will? You know what I mean? So there's that whole thing. But then at the same time, yes, free will has been kind of embraced as this thing that we kind of do for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, free will. It's just like in your own will, right? Like whatever you feel like doing, whatever you see in your head, that's what you finna manifest and things like that. So this took it away, and religion. So religion came through and. But then now look, what's the difference between what astrology was doing and what religion was doing? The fact that with religion you still had a strict set of rules that you had to follow. You know what I'm saying? Even though, yes, I think religious principles do present the kind of free will, you know what I mean? Sort of reality or idea or whatever, for as long as you follow these let me not say commandments, because now it just narrows it down to just like one religion, but just rules and laws, you know, statutes and things like this, right? Like all religions have this, you know what I mean? So then what's the difference between this kind of thing where, okay, astrology was about fate, Yo, this nigga will tell you when you're gonna, when everything's gonna end. Damn. It can tell you when you're gonna die. Fuck. Then religion was like, nah, no, don't listen to that. Come with me. Run quick, Now, religion was like, yo, there's a path, bro. It's just like everlasting life, probably. You know what I'm saying? You know, type of talk. You don't have to, die, I don't know.
Astrology is a liminal subject, part of the enigmatic borderlands of human exploration that resist universally agreed definition.
Right.
It is one of the most historically significant and enduring, as well as one of the most poorly understood liminal realms of knowledge. Though astrological language is filled with mythic allusions in the interplay between gods, these mythic dialogues were not used to amplify planetary aspects by traditional astrologers. It was the Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst Carl Jung who inspired astrologers to return to the symbolic, to amplify the starry heavens with myths and remember the planetary gods. In mapping the landscape of the psyche, Jung recognized some major archetypes such as the wise old man, the great mother, the shadow, the hero, the fool, etc., that ancient astrologers could recognize from their planetary pantheon and zodiac signs. For example, Saturn being the figure of the shadow, but also the wise old man. Both astrological and Jungian images are representatives of archetypal forces that shape and govern the human experience, whether it is expressed in the heavens or in the unconscious. Jung writes, "The journey through the planetary houses signifies the overcoming of a psychic obstacle or of an autonomous complex."
So the houses actually address more the psyche, the reflection of... I mean, I've done my own deep dives about, into the houses and things like that, so... Yeah.
Suitably represented by planetary god or demon. Jung was primarily interested in the way astrology could help to explore the psyche. The zodiac wheel symbolizes an imaginative journey, which is an early depiction of the individuation process, the path towards wholeness. The Egyptians believed that at sunset, the sun god Ra would travel to the underworld, and at sunrise he would emerge again, having defended himself against the monsters of the underworld. This birth-death-rebirth motif can be compared to the hero's journey that we all partake in, as seen in myths of heroes with solar attributes. The way of the individual is symbolized by the sun's path through the 12 zodiac signs. Individuation is not a linear process, but rather a process of circumambulation of the self. That is to say, the circling around until one reaches the center, represented by the mandala, a symbol of the self. Similarly, by engaging with the archetypes, we participate in primordial time. The Roman historian of religion Mircea Eliade calls this the eternal return. Myths, rituals, and traditions reconnect us with the sacred, allowing us to temporarily step outside of the profane into the divine realm that transports us back to the world of origins. Just like Jung's theory of psychological...
So what is this world of origins? What are we talking about when we see... That's not a, that's not a crazy question.
Types. Astrology can also give a more or less total picture of the individual's character. From the remotest times, astrologers have seen a correspondence between the various planets, zodiacal signs, houses, and aspects, all of which have meanings that serve as a basis for a character study, or for an interpretation of a given situation. Myths are symbols for archetypal patterns that lay beneath the human experience. Jung's recognition of the reality of the unconscious and his work with primordial images or archetypes was a great boon to astrology, which branched into a new field known as psychological astrology or astropsychology.
Yo, okay, here's another point that I just want to make real quick. It's like not a point I want to make, but it's like, something that I want to raise. There's different kind of psychology. I mean astrology. There's kind of like Chinese, year of the this or year of that, but that has to do with like animals, right? That's not astrology. Okay, astrology is like stars. But then there's also like what you call this? Sidereal. I don't know if y'all know about like sidereal psychology, where it's Indian or Hindi. It's like, yo, forgive me if I'm getting things wrong, but it's like Eastern psychology. I mean astrology. Fuck. Why am I? You see, like, yo, today's title might just get me fucked up. Like, is yo. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's Eastern psychology. You know, the kind of psychology where it's kind of different, like the timing and the shifts of constellations, and you know, there's a slight difference there. You know what I'm saying? So if you've done that much homework, right? Leave your POV about this kind of, because it's like, yo, then whatever this brother is talking about right now, eternalized, right? Does this apply in terms of the origins of the Eastern? No, it's not sidereal psychology. It's Vedic. My bad. Yo, fuck. Vedic psychology, right? VEDIC. Vedic psychology. It's like, it's AKA just Eastern psychology. You know what I mean?
The term archetypal seems more fitting than psychological to encapsulate this symbolic.
Oh yeah, fuck, yo, I was so immersed in what the homie was talking about, or this AI, whatever it is, was talking about, right? That I forgot. Yeah, we are here for the psychology. So I guess what I was talking about doesn't matter. Fuck it.
Approach to astrology. Jung writes, obviously astrology has much to offer psychology, but what the latter can offer its elder sister is less evident. So far as I can judge, it would seem to me advantageous for astrology to take the existence of psychology into account, above all the psychology of the personality and of the unconscious.
Well, I feel like, okay, this must have been a time when they were now. Remember that alignment that I was talking about, that whatever's going on in the sky, since, you know, nature is all they had, whatever was going on in the sky had to align with what's going on, you know, on the ground. Like, yeah, on the ground, right? Now it's like, yo, okay, let's take it a level deeper. Let's take it down into the psychology, you know what I'm saying? Let's take it deep into the mind and the behaviors, you know what I'm saying? And mental processes of the mind, right? Let's see how that aligns with what goes on in the sky and on the ground, and you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. I see where you know what I'm saying, how it all just comes together.
Sure that something could be learned from its symbolic method of interpretation, for that has to do with the interpretation of the archetypes, the gods, and their mutual relations,
right.
The common concern of both arts. The psychology of the unconscious is particularly